afraid of the daughter of mighty Zeus. Hector approached the halls of Paris. Sumptuous halls he built himself with the finest masons of the day. Master builders famed in the fertile land of Troy. They'd raised his sleeping chamber, house and court, adjoining Priam's and Hector's aloft the city heights. Now Hector, dear to Zeus, strode through the gates, clutching a thrusting lance 11 forearms long. The bronze tip of the weapon shone before him, ringed with a golden hoop to grip the shaft. And there, in the bedroom, Hector came on Paris, polishing, fondling his splendid armor, his shield and breastplate, turning over and over his long, curved bow. And there was Helen of Argos, sitting with all the women of the house, directing the rich embroidered work they had in hand. Seeing Paris, Hector raked his brother with insults, stinging taunts. "What on earth are you doing? Well, how wrong it is, this anger you keep smoldering in your heart. Look, your people are dying around the city, the steep walls, dying in arms, and all for you. The battle cries and the fighting flaring up around the citadel. You'd be the first to lash out at another anywhere you saw hanging back from this hateful war. Up with you, before all Troy is torched to a cinder here and now." And Paris, magnificent as a god, said, "Ah, Hector, you criticize me fairly, yes, nothing unfair, beyond what I deserve. And so I would try to tell you something. Please bear with me. Hear me out. It's not so much from anger or outrage at our people that I keep in my room so long. I only wanted to plunge myself in grief. But just now my wife was bringing me round, her winning words urging me back to battle, and it strikes me even now as the better way. Victory shifts, you know, now one man and now another. So come, wait while I get this war gear on, or you go on ahead, I will follow. I think I can overtake you." And Hector, helmet flashing, answered nothing. Helen spoke to him now, her soft voice welling up. "My dear brother, dear to me, bitch as I am, vicious, scheming, hard to freeze the heart. Oh, how I wish that first day my mother brought me into the light, some black whirlwind had rushed me out to the mountains, or into the surf, where the roaring breakers crash and drag. The waves had swept me off before all this. Since the gods ordained it all these desperate years, I wish I'd been the wife of a better man, someone alive to outrage the withering scorn of men. This one has no steadiness in his spirit. Not now. He never will. He's going to reap the fruits of it, I swear. But come in, rest on this seat with me, dear brother. You are the one hit hardest by the fighting, Hector. You're more than all, and all for me, more than I am. And this blind, mad Paris. Oh, the two of us. Zeus planted a killing doom within us. So even for generations still unborn, we will live in song." Turning to go, his helmet flashing, tall Hector answered, "Don't ask me to sit beside you here, Helen. Love me as you do, you can't persuade me now. No time for rest. My heart races to help our Trojans. They long for me sorely, whenever I am gone. But rouse this fellow, won't you? And let him hurry himself along as well, so he can overtake me before I leave the city. For I must go home to see my people first, to visit my own dear wife and my baby son. Who knows if I will ever come back to them again, or the deathless gods will strike me down at last at the hands of Argive fighters." A flash of his helmet, and off he strode, and quickly reached his sturdy, well-built house. But white-armed Andromache Hector could not find her in the halls. She and the boy and a servant finally gowned were standing watch on the tower, sobbing and grieving. And when Hector saw no sign of his loyal wife inside, he went to the doorway, stopped, and asked the servants, "Come, please, tell me the truth, thou women. Where has Andromache gone? To my sister's house? My brother's wives with their long flowing robes, or Athena's shrine where the noble Trojan women gather to win the great grim goddess over?" A busy, willing servant answered quickly, "Hector said you ought to know the truth. You hadn't gone to your sister's, brother's wives, or Athena's shrine where the noble Trojan women gather to win the great grim goddess over. Up to the huge gate tower of Troy she's gone, 'cause she heard our men are so hard pressed. The Achaean fighters coming on in so much force, she sped to the wall in panic, like a mad woman. The nurse went with her, carrying your child." At that, Hector spun and rushed from his house, back by the same way, down the wide, well-paved streets, throughout the city, until he reached the Scion gates, the last point he would pass to gain the field of battle. There his warm, generous wife came running up to meet him, Andromache, the daughter of gallant-hearted Ixion, who had lived below Mount Placos, rich with timber, in Thebes below the peaks, and ruled Cilicia's people. His daughter had married Hector, helmed in bronze. She joined him now, and following in her footsteps, a servant, holding the boy against her breast, in the first flush of life, only a baby, Hector's son, the darling of his eyes, radiant as a star. Hector would always call the boy Scamandrius. Townsmen called him Astyanax, lord of the city, since Hector was the lone defense of Troy. The great man of war breaking into a broad smile, his gaze fixed on his son in silence. Andromache, pressing close beside him and weeping freely now, clung to his hand, urged him, calling, "Reckless, my Hector, your own fiery courage will destroy you. Have you no pity for him, our helpless son, or me, and the destiny that weighs me down, your widow now so soon? Yes, soon they will kill you off, all the Achaean forces massed for assault, and then, bereft of you, better for me to sink beneath the earth. What other warmth, what comfort's left for me once you've met your doom? Nothing but torment. I have lost my father. Mother's gone as well. Father, the brilliant Achilles laid him low when he stormed Cilicia's city filled with people, Thebe with her towering gates. He killed Ixion, and he stripped his gear, in some respect at least. For he burned his corpse and all his blazoned bronze, then heaped a grave mound high above the arches, and nymphs of the mountain planted elms around it, daughters of Zeus whose shield is storm and thunder. And the 7 brothers I had within our halls, all in the same day, went down to the house of death. The great godlike runner Achilles butchered them all, tending their shambling oxen, shining flocks. And mother, who ruled under the timberline of woody Placos once, he no sooner haled her here with his other plunder than he took a priceless ransom, so set her free, and home she went to her father's royal halls, where Artemis, showering arrows, shot her down. You, Hector, you are my father now, my noble mother, a brother too, my husband, young, warm, and strong. Pity me, please. Take your stand on the rampart here, before you orphan your son, and make your wife a widow. Draw your armies up where the wild fig trees stand, there where the city lies most open to assault, the walls low or easily overrun. 3 times they have tried that point, hoping to storm Troy. Their best fighters led by the great and little Ajax, famous Idomeneus, Atreus' sons, valiant Diomedes. Perhaps a skilled prophet revealed the spot where their own fury whips them on to attack. And tall Hector nodded, his helmet flashing. All this weighs on my mind too, dear woman. But I would die of shame to face the men of Troy, and the Trojan women, trailing their long robes, if I would shrink from battle now. Nor does the spirit urge me on that way. I've learned it all too well. Stand up bravely, always to fight in the front ranks of Trojan soldiers. winning my father great glory and glory for myself. For in my heart and soul I also know this well. The day will come when sacred Troy must die. Priam must die, and all his people with him. Priam who hurls a strong ash spear. Even so, it is less the pain of the Trojans still to come that weighs me down, not even of Hecuba herself or King Priam, or the thought that my own brothers in all their numbers, all their gallant courage may tumble in the dust, crushed by enemies. That's nothing beside your agony when some brazen Argive hails you off in tears, wrenching away your day of light and freedom. Then far from the land of Argos you must live, laboring at a loom at another woman's beck and call, fetching water at some spring, Messias or Hyperia, resisting it all the way, the rough yoke of necessity at your neck. And a man may say, who sees you streaming tears, there is the wife of Hector, the bravest fighter they could field. Those stallion-breaking Trojans long ago when the men fought for Troy. So he will say, and the fresh grief will swell in your heart once more, widowed, robbed of the one man strong enough to fight off your day of slavery. No, let the earth come piling over my head, my dead body, before I hear your cries. I hear you dragged away. In the same breath, shining Hector reached down for his son, but the boy recoiled, cringing against his nurse's full breast, screaming out at the sight of his own father. Terrified by the flashing bronze, the horsehair crest, the great ridge of the helmet nodding, bristling terror, so it struck his eyes. And his loving father laughed, and his mother laughed as well. And glorious Hector, quickly lifting the helmet from his head, set it down on the ground, fiery in the sunlight, and raising his son, he kissed him, tossed him in his arms, lifting a prayer to Zeus and the other deathless gods. Zeus, all you immortals, grant this boy, my son, may be like me, first in glory among the Trojans, strong and brave like me, and rule all Troy in power. And one day let them say, he is a better man than his father, when he comes home from battle bearing the bloody gear of the mortal enemy he was killed in war, a joy to his mother's heart. So Hector prayed, and placed his son in the arms of his loving wife, and Andromache pressed the child to her scented breast, smiling through her tears. Her husband noticed, and filled with pity now, Hector stroked her gently, trying to reassure her, repeating her name. Andromache. Andromache, dear one, why so desperate? Why so much grief for me? No man will hurl me down to death against my fate. And fate. No one alive has ever escaped it, neither brave man nor coward. I tell you, it's born with us the day that we are born. So please, go home and tend to your own tasks, the distaff and the loom, and keep the women working hard as well. As for the fighting, men will see to that, all who are born in Troy, but I most of all. Hector, of flashing arms, took up his horsehair-crested helmet once again, and his loving wife went home, turning, glancing back again and again, and weeping live warm tears. She quickly reached the sturdy house of Hector, man-killing Hector, and found her women gathered there inside, and stirred them all to a high pitch of mourning. So in his house they raised the dirges for the dead, for Hector, still alive. His people were so convinced that never again would he come home from battle, never escape the Argives' rage and bloody hands. Nor did Paris linger long in his vaulted halls. Soon as he buckled on his elegant gleaming bronze, he rushed through Troy, sure in his racing stride, as a stallion full fed at the manger, stalled too long, breaking free of his tether, gallops down the plain, out for his favorite plunge in a river's cool torrents. Thundering in his pride, his head flung back, his mane streaming over his shoulders, and sleek in his glory, knees racing him onto the fields, and stallion haunts he loves. So down from Pergamus heights came Paris, son of Priam, glittering in his armor like the sun, astride the skies, exultant, laughing aloud. His fast feet sped him on. Quickly he overtook his brother, noble Hector, still lingering, slow to turn from the spot where he had just confided in his wife. A magnificent Paris spoke first. "Dear brother, look at me, holding you back all in your speed, dragging my feet, coming to see you so late. And you told me to be quick." The flash of his helmet as Hector shot back. "Impossible, man. How could anyone fair and just underrate your work in battle? You're a good soldier, but you hang back of your own accord, refuse to fight. And that's why the heart inside me aches when I hear our Trojans heap contempt on you, the men who bear such struggles all for you. Come, now for attack. We'll set all this to rights. Someday, if Zeus will ever let us raise a wine bowl of freedom high in our halls, high to the gods of cloud and sky who live forever. Once we drive these Argives geared for battle out of Troy.